My computer's running so slow. Oh, then we're
Oh,
live.
there we go. Yeah, we need. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like we need that Flintstones whistle. You know. Oh, it's time to go to work. Time to make the vlogs.
I feel you. Good morning, everyone. It is September 26th,
Oh my
2022.
God, September 26th already.
Yeah, I
Jesus,
know, I know, I know.
it's
And this
like,
is what? The
what
Raging
are
Two
we?
Vlogs?
Ugh. Yeah, we're something. We're
Yeah,
something. It is Monday. It is Monday. I have the Monday posted out. So welcome, and I guess let's get this thing started,
yeah,
right?
buckle up, bitches.
Oswald is the greatest sorcerer of our time. He lives in New York City, and he happens to be a mouse. And he has serious evil goblin problems. In this 4-issue epic adventure, Oswald finds himself rescuing a traveling warrior gnome, Daphne, who seeks revenge on an evil goblin who murdered his family. A goblin that now lives with one of Oswald's neighbors, a giant spider. What will Oswald and his newfound friend, Daphne, do? Find out in the pages of It Broke Free and Couldn't Read, now on Kickstarter.
Your favorite podcast, it's Critical Plus.
And we'll settle
Yeah.
for being somebody's second
Hello.
fave.
Good morning. Oh
Good
my
morning,
goodness.
Daphne.
I'm just barely waking up. Oh my God. I have run actual half marathons and never felt so ass draggy than when I finish a Kickstarter. What a weekend. I mean, I just could not get my first wind over the weekend after the Kickstarter ended on on a Friday. Jesus Christ. Oh my goodness. Hello everybody. Welcome to another edition of Ragin to the Vlogs show. Yeah, so who's in the chat? Who's joining us in the
Let's
chat?
see. So we so far got Marvy, Mike
Hello.
Jimmy.
Hello.
Let's see. Glenn Fleming. Good morning, Glenn.
Hello. Good morning.
Yeah, and all of our multiple personalities. Our
Oh,
backup,
yes.
our plan B is there.
Right. Oh, very
What
nice.
is Plan B? Hey guys, so see that channel over there that commented, the Indie Comics Network Plan B? If you want, go over there and go ahead and sub to it. There will be no original content on it. It'll be the same thing that's over here, but it's our backup plan for if
Ah.
it's the fail safe for if House of Bob or Shots with Comics gets us in too much trouble.
Oh no. we had to start worrying about that, huh? We need an escape route.
Yeah, and there are
already.
more videos on there than that show up, but
Right.
they are currently
Right.
privatized, and I'm gonna keep
Okay.
it that way so that it doesn't attract the attention of bots.
Oh, I see.
So
Okay.
yeah,
All right. Yeah. And it's like, oh, and welcome the 5 people who are currently watching us from regions beyond. Welcome. It's like, and it's like, I know you're probably watching us from Facebook or from Twitter or whatnot. And, and probably you have your reasons for watching us outside of YouTube. But, come on over to YouTube. Come on over. Join us. Join the sexy people in the chat. We always have a good time here. So, but I know you probably have your reasons. You're probably at work or whatnot, and you need your hourly, your twice a week dose of an hour long conversation and whatnot, whatever
the hell this is.
yeah, whatever this is. So I guess, let's get this started. So hello everyone, my name is Daphne Lage, and I'm a cartoonist, illustrator, and comic book artist from New York. I have been self-publishing comics since 1992, and I am known for the furry fantasy adventure Tall Tales, coming back to Kickstarter in early 2023. And I am also known for my medieval fantasy soap opera drama, Eagle Raven, Heir of the First Unicorn, that did completely crazy go nuts on Kickstarter, which ended on Friday. Thank you, everybody who supported the campaign. I still can't believe, what our unicorn princess did. Yeah, I'm going to be doing the math today, but let's we'll talk a little bit more about that later. In the meantime, you can read both my comics online at Tall Tales, TAILS online.com, and egoworks.com, EGOWRKS. And you can check out all my videos on how I make my comics on YouTube, on Daphne Lage, Lage art, on the Daphne Lage art channel, which also simulcasts through the Indie Comics Network. So come on over to YouTube, subscribe, hit the thumbs, all the thumbs,
all of them. Touch all of our buttons.
Yeah, exactly. Hit the notification bell so you get notified whenever we go live. And with more of what's going on in this juke joint, Nita, take it away.
Good morning. My name is Nita Lanning. I am a writer, vlogger, blogger from Southeast Louisiana. I am CEO of Ragin 2 Promotions, the parent company that brings you Indie Comics Network on YouTube and Indie Comics Promotions on Facebook.
Right. Oh, and before we continue, a big woo to Robert Miltari, who is celebrating his birthday today. And Facebook, said that you are 40 years old, and all I can say is that you are an infant, sir. You are a whole ass infant. So
a whole ass infant. Oh, and speaking of Rob Multari, do not forget, guys.
Oh, yes.
Snowpaw is in its sign-up phase on Kickstarter. He
Absolutely.
will be launching Wednesday evening, I believe. Actually, I think he's launching Wednesday morning, but doing the party Wednesday evening.
Okay.
Anyway, no matter how it goes, Snowpaw issue 2 is over on Kickstarter right now with interior art from Mog Park from Game of Thrones. So head over there and check it out.
Exactly. Yes. So happy birthday, Rob.
Happy birthday, Rob.
So what else do we have in housekeeping that we should
okay, we've got let's see, we've got this science fiction fantasy here. This is the Forsaken Future. This is Doran Kirkham from Whitefire Comics. This is the last week for this crowdfunder. Excellent interior art. Not sure of everybody's names on the project, but you definitely should head over there and check it out. And of course, JD still has the Oswald Chronicles, which I don't have a card for, but we just played the video.
Right, exactly.
Check that out.
Right. We're doing a closeout party for him on Friday. So you have 5 days left to support the Oswald Chronicles. I think that he's very close to reaching the 3,000 stretch goal, which is like a very fancy pearlescent trading card that he's going to do. So looking forward to unlocking that. Yeah, spicy.
Okay, so what else? Oh. Indie Rush did not get recorded yesterday. We will be recording that during this shit show tonight.
Oh, no.
Yes. So return. It will be back. Even though we fired them, they keep on coming back. It's just like, fine, whatever. We'll keep them on the porch and see how things go.
Right, exactly. We'll put a little food out,
Tonight is going to be a special episode that they call Gut Rot, which they do once a month, which is kind of like their usual show, but worse. And that scares me. So, so that will be streaming exclusively to YouTube.
Right. More bottom shelf drinks.
And then beginning Thursday, October 6th, Tina and Rodney, Rodney fight, but Tina McElhaney is the other half of Rodney fight. Yeah,
I think she produces the show. Yeah.
Tina's freaking awesome. Anyway, Rodney and Sean Fornery will be bringing us a Thursday night throwdown. That's live art, like draw stream. Sometimes they do interviews, all kinds of random stuff. And then, hey, Daphne.
What? Oh, yes, our brand new code. So speaking of ending Kickstarters, so send all your comics in style with a Gemini mailer. And how do you get a Gemini mailer? Why? Through Gemini mailers with our 10% code Ragin10. Save 10% on your next Gemini mailer order, and get your comics that people pay a premium for on crowdfunding. Get them all in shape, in good shape, unless you're Nita's mail
Oh my
carrier.
God.
But she'll try. She tries.
Yes.
There you go. And if you have any questions, comments, you have a
Complaints.
topic you want us. Yes, exactly. You have a topic you want us to talk about on the show. Email us at raginabc@gmail.com, and Nita will hook you up. We'll try. Like I said, there's no such thing as a dumb question, but our answers might be, because we like to be cheeky monkeys here. So, but no, seriously though, we will try to give you a serious answer. No matter what. But speaking of, Andy, also, I want to thank everybody who joined us on Saturday for House of Bob. We had our first guest, John Celestri, and we had a wonderful 2-hour conversation with John Celestri about Bloodwing Angel, about why it's so difficult to kind of like ride this middle ground between G-rated and X-rated when we just want to put out like mature comics, and why it's difficult to do that, and all that fun stuff. It was a very good conversation.
Which is also available right now on Kickstarter.
Oh, yes, absolutely. I think Mike Jimmy had put the link in the chat as well. So the links are going to be in the chat or in the show notes. Either way, the links are somewhere.
On the promotions page.
Yes, exactly. So
they're everywhere. They're around.
Exactly. Yes, and the promotions page is the best place that you're able to find. Yes, but exactly.
I'm sorry, sir, but we maintain pretty well. Thank you. So we don't get distracted, especially by comments. Like
what?
What?
Wait, what was I talking about? Oh, yes, the promotions page. Yes, if you want to see all the different types of campaigns that are out there, head on over to the indie. What's the exact name?
Indie Comics Promotions
on Facebook, where everybody gets to post their campaigns there. So if there's any books that we haven't mentioned here, it's over there, so you don't miss a thing.
That's right. It's also available for you to freely self-promote.
Yes.
Promote your friends.
Yes.
Please engage these groups. People, you want to attract attention to your project. The best way through the groups is to keep those groups engaged. Shares, put a fucking GIF, thumbs up, flip the bird, whatever.
Right. Yeah. Use all the emojis.
Do it all.
Exactly. Yeah. But I am exhausted. I mean, like I said, it is like I was kidding about, having to take a nap and facing, and going through the weekend entirely face down. I think I should have really done that. I mean, I don't understand why crowdfunding is so stressful. And it doesn't feel like that, because it's kind of like, okay, I do my posts and whatnot. And it's kind of like the crowdfunding is happening in the background almost.
But it's not, because you have to be meticulous in how you post.
Yeah.
You want to change things up. You want to make sure that you're using multiple links to bring to the same site.
Right.
You're going to be going back and forth with images to see what's getting that engagement. It can be exhausting.
Right. Yeah. I guess it's all like these little micro decisions that we have to make. So I just literally had just like barely any energy to get real work done. I'm still getting through the sketch covers for the last Oswald Chronicles campaign. So yes, I didn't forget anybody. It's like we have 4 people waiting,
Yeah.
Yes, it's like, look, it's it's like I already start the day with fiber. We already start the day with that, the fiber, the moisturizing. Look, it's it's a whole thing, So anybody who's waiting for their orders, their rewards for the last Oswald Chronicles campaign, I am currently working on the sketch covers. I have a couple of them here. It's like they are in production. It's just that this weekend I was a little slower than usual, so it was just really hard to concentrate. The only and the thing is too is that this campaign isn't even cold yet, And I was already fussing. Exactly. I was already fussing with the campaign for issue 5. Because I was discussing, so I was doing like my kind of like, me and JD were discussing like the end of the campaign and what I learned and what worked and what didn't and that type of thing. And JD had brought up the point that it's like, one of the reasons why this campaign probably did so well is because the book is at a higher price point, which means that you might actually have trouble with your next campaign because it's going to be an individual issue. And I was like going, oh crap. I was expecting the two campaigns to reverse. Like I was expecting this to be the weak campaign, and then issue 5 was where everything was going to start growing again. But now it's like, holy crap, you're kind of right. And I got like a little paranoid about it. So I went into my issue 5 campaign, and I started like adding stuff and tweaking stuff. On the last show, I unveiled the 3 exclusive variants for the campaign, which will be available in like for this time. I'm only going to do for the variants a regular version and a virgin variant. For some reason, it's like people just like that or that. Like for some, I guess like the hollow covers, it's like it's nice, but it's not really what people are looking for when it comes to the exclusive variants. So I'm just gonna like kind of cut that. But so I was just like trying to like, okay, what can I do with this? What can I add with this? And here's the funny thing too, that I realized from my campaign. I don't remember if I spoke about this on the last show or not, but add-ons are kind of tricky.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, it's like, they're a good idea in theory, but I think the problem is that until Kickstarter allows us to oh, well, yeah, that's what I'm hoping. That's what I'm hoping. But still, though, I mean, yeah, it's kind of tough because, like I said, it's like the trade and the individual issues have kind of like 2 different audiences. So, well, the thing about the add-ons though is like what I noticed on the last campaign is that, like I said, Kickstarter. I mean, it's a very good idea, but until Kickstarter allows us to put pictures.
Oh yeah, yes,
The add-ons, especially. I think that once you get to a certain amount of add-ons, people don't know what they're looking at, so they don't really pay attention to it because it's just a whole list of words as opposed to pictures.
Right.
That's what I give Indiegogo credit for, because you could put pictures on the levels and the add-ons.
Yes.
I know BackerKit does it, but the thing is, I'm not at a point where I'm using BackerKit yet, so that's neither here nor there for me. So right now, what I am trying to do on the issue 5 campaign is that, yeah, exactly, is trying to see what things from the add-ons I can put together as its own level on the front page, to kind of like move stuff. Because the thing that disappointed me on this previous campaign is that I thought that I would be able to kind of get rid of all like the last call variant covers that I had from issues 1 through 4. I still have a little stragglers of silver covers and hollow covers and whatnot. I think I have a Mary Bellamy silver cover still floating around, but none of those moved. And I think that it has a lot to do with the fact that, like I said, people just see a long list of words, and there just comes a point where they don't pay attention to it.
Right.
But if it's on the main page, I think that it has a better chance, because I guess when you're on the main page, people are paying more attention to it. It's like, oh, which levels do I want? So that's what I'm trying to do with the next.
That and putting as much stuff as you can from the add-ons in the tiers to picture on the campaign. When they go into just the add-ons, they'll know what they're looking at.
Right. You see, because that's the thing too, because you have the levels and then you have your pictures. So they're through the campaign crawl anyway. So if they see pictures of something that they like and you say, oh, the level's right there, the idea is that I'll be able to like move those things better than if they were just in the
Thanks for
add-ons.
stopping, Chris.
Hey, bye, take care. So that's like that's a main thing that I was like kind of like switching around. Like, so what I'm doing is that I'm kind of like thinking of the levels and the add-ons backwards. So what it is, because before what I was thinking is that the levels were the base and then the add-ons were just that. Then you would go in and add in all the extra stuff. Now I'm kind of thinking of it in reverse. The add-ons, I'm putting my base in the add-ons, but like all the extras and everything are going to be levels somehow. So you still have your base levels, like the standard levels, if you just want issue 5 or whatever issue 5 or the collection, the whole thing or whatnot. But then like the specialty items, like I'm going to have a level that if you wanted to collect only the exclusive variant covers, I'm going to have a separate level for that's going to be its own level, but you can add issue 5 on that once you get into the add-ons. So it's kind of like reverse there. So instead of like, saying that, okay, so that this level is going to be an add, it's like, well, you can, and the thing is though, everything on the campaign is still going to be listed as individual add-ons. It's just that I'm going to concentrate more on seeing how much I can put as levels.
Right.
Trying to get
well, and in the tiers, you might do better with it just in add-ons too, because like I said, they get the visual image on the main page, so they know what it's called, and hopefully that connection will be made.
Right. So that's what I'm hoping. So that's kind of like the what I'm hoping will kind of like help move the campaign forward. That I can move more stuff off, with the campaign with it, and it's like, and it's like, so, and then it's like, I had more requests for blank sketch covers. So I put a level for that, I put that as an add-on. So I have to put in a level just for the blank sketch covers. So you'll be able to get Eagle Raven and Tall Tales blanks on the campaign as well. And that's the thing too. So you can also get Tall Tales on the Eagle Raven campaign as well. I was actually sold a set of hello. We're gonna have Russell on it in a minute. So Philip Russert in a minute. It's like, I know too many people with the word Russ in their names. That's the thing. So Philip Russert will be joining us in a couple of minutes. But yeah, it's like, I'm just like, okay, now it's like for issue 5, I'm doing the same thing that I was doing for the trade paperback. It's like, holy crap, what do I throw at this?
Right.
In order to push it to the next level.
The whole pot of spaghetti at the wall, Daphne.
Yeah, no, for real.
Do it.
And and the thing is too, is that also in terms of the stretch goals, I'm going to push my luck a little bit. Maybe this might not be a $10,000 campaign, but at 9,500, I figured, what? Let's see if we can get the campaign to 9,500, and I will add an extra 12 pages of story to issue 5. So I have that in the pot, in the spaghetti pot as well. So it's just, so that's kind of like where my mind at was this weekend. I'm slowly getting through trying to sketch out stuff, and my brain is like going, oh, what if we do this, and what if we do that, and if you do a level for this, and it's like, because really it's like, yes, it's going to be, at 9,500 for the next campaign, I will add an extra 12 pages of story to so what it is that it's going to be another one of the Tales from the Outer Kingdoms shorts that I have. So I mean, we're just going to start putting, it's like, look, I'm currently in the process of doing another short story for the issue 6 campaign. I mean, it's like, look, this is this is how I am. This is why I'm tired all the time. It's just like, this is what crowdfunding, does, especially, and you see, and this is the thing too, when your campaign is doing like 3, 4, 5, it's like, it's kind of like, okay, that's kind of like side money, it's like,
Right.
okay, we're doing okay, we're kind of like breaking even and stuff and whatnot. But as the campaign starts kind of like going above 5 a bit, like 5 seems to be, because I like even numbers, it's the OCD, it's like, yeah, I like even numbers. And then it's like, so once I started going up a little bit further, it's like, oh, now this is kind of getting a little uncomfortable. you know, you know, um, oh, a bestiary. Oh, actually, that would be nice as a separate book.
Yeah.
Sam did he did a kind of like a supplement to his series, which is there's an alien in my toilet, which is also on
Also on
Kickstarter right
Kickstarter.
now.
Everything's on
Everything's
Kickstarter.
Kickstarter. And he did a separate book that was kind of like a little mini Bible of the series, where it's like the characters, little background stuff and whatnot. And I picked that up specifically because it was a separate book. It's like, I like the idea of it being a separate book. I'm kind of playing around with the idea of doing something like that as well. I figure, it's like, look, we all steal ideas from each other, right? So why should I be different? So yeah, so it's like, so yeah, I would recommend doing that as a separate book, just because it would just be just like really, kind of just nice to have, as a, so I don't have to keep pulling out the main book to, to get the bestiary, so
Right.
that's really cool. What was I saying?
Squirt.
Words. I was just saying words. Yeah. So yeah, it's like, so I'm just like really just throwing everything, and that's the thing too. It's like, oh yeah. So there comes a point where it's like you start reaching a certain level monetarily on a campaign, and then it's like, okay, so up to a certain point, it's kind of like, okay, this is cute. It's like, oh yeah, it's like, okay, I'm just making yeah, exactly. I'm just making, a little pocket change or whatnot. And then it's like you get past a certain threshold and it's like, oh, wait a minute. Now this is kind of turning into something real.
Right.
And
Right.
then it's like, so here I am at 8.3. And I'm like going, oh my God, am I going to have to hire an actual accountant soon? I usually do this shit myself, but I mean, it's like, and then it's like, holy crap. I mean, this is getting to an amount where it's like, this is literally a job in and of itself.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Where it's like, if I can get, and then it's like, okay, how can I try to maintain or like grow or maintain this type of this growth, right, without killing myself, in the process. It's like, oh my God, it's turning into an actual job. And it's like, it's like, so it's just kind of weird. We're kind of entering a weird phase now. And that's kind of how I'm looking at issue 5 now. It's like, okay, this last campaign did 8.5. How do I kind of push it forward? Because now it's like, oh, now it's because it's like, I've seen way too many campaigns where it's like they make their 5 figures and then it's like you never hear from them again for another 2-3 years.
Right. Right.
And it's like, no, I thought the whole point of doing art full time is really, really committing to it. And now it kind of feels like, it's like, oh my God, I really am committed. And it's like, I'm actually committed. So yeah, so that's where kind of I am right now. So what I'll be doing, so for everybody who supported the campaign, thank you again. I'm going to start going through the paperwork through the campaign, seeing how many books I have to buy or whatnot. get my proofs together, get my files together, and do whatever tweaking that I need. And then hopefully in a couple of days, I can get everything sent out, and then we can get this ball really rolling. So we have our guest in. So what we're going to do is we're going to show some love, and then we will be back with Philip Russert and Tragedy on Kickstarter right now. So take it away, Nita.
It's Monty Moore. I'm a 30-year comics veteran in comics, games, and movies, and you've been watching one of my absolute favorite podcasts, Catch the Craze.
You are watching Catch the Craze.
What am I listening to?
And you're listening to Catch the Craze.
Where are all the indies at?
A Catch the Craze podcast. What are you watching?
I'm watching Catch the Craze.
What are you going to do?
Subscribe now to Catch the Craze, the #1 show online for independent.
Have you subscribed to?
You are an independent. Catch the craze. Making moves on your own. Catch the craze. On your grind in the streets. Catch the craze. Join the movement. Catch the craze.
I feel so betrayed.
What? Hey,
What?
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 You mean?
I'll settle for being number two.
That whole the #1. Well, but the thing is, RJ's the #1 podcast too. So we're all the #1.
We're all going to be everybody's favorite.
So welcome, Philip Russert. Welcome.
Howdy.
Hi.
By the way, I have to say, George and Sam, I do love being on this show, though. They are awesome hosts.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
But I was on this show once before, and it was also awesome. And we also had a nice conversation afterwards. So,
thank you.
And you guys do a lot for the community, and I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you very much. We try to be educational on top of being our silly selves. So
the best way to reach people, right? Just be relatable.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So so why don't you tell the people who you are, cuz and so we can get a nice conversation started.
So I'm Phil Russert, father, husband, nurse by day, small publisher, indie publisher by night, and day and afternoon and evening and weekend. I have my main book, Tragedy, out right now, campaign 4. Also, other books are underway in production, and I'm just grinding like the rest of us, right? Just trying to get out there. Find my niche.
Exactly. Because this is your 4th campaign, right?
Yes.
For so you've done 4 campaigns. So what was it that started? I mean, because you obviously have a lot going on in your personal life already. I mean, being in the medical field is grinding enough. So it's like, what led you into deciding that you were going to add comics on top of it?
Well, I also run physical conventions, and I'm an art rep, so I was
already in
the industry. Not a big name, but doing my thing in the industry. So long story short, in 2020, I had gotten very, very sick. It was actually life-threatening sick, and I was in bed for 6 weeks. And I'm going to be 50 in a couple of weeks, and in my day, it was really hard to think that you could even do a comic book. We didn't have Kickstarter, and we didn't have social media, and how did you even connect with an artist? It was a very, very difficult process. But it was something I always was fascinated by, but intimidated by at the same time, writing a comic. As I laid there in bed, I was like, you know what? I don't know what's in store for me, but I'm not going out quietly. I'm going to do something that I always wanted to do. And I had this image in my head of the design of the character. It just popped in my head. I can't explain it. It just, boom, it was there. And I said, that's interesting. And I just started writing. And I wrote 13 issues while sick. And I'm at 26 issues written now.
Wow. So the story that you started writing, is it still pretty much the same? Or it's kind of like, that was kind of like your first draft, and once you really sat down to do it, that it changed?
No, actually, I don't plot anything out. I just start writing from my imagination, and the story is telling itself. And the only thing I'll do is go back and just see if I don't like a bit of dialogue or anything. And usually I don't really change much at all. I feel it takes the pressure off too. I don't want to be pressured with writing because that's where you
Right.
get writer's block. You know,
Right.
just
Yeah.
write and have fun. Like I'm sitting and telling my daughter stories, but of course you're trying to fine tune it and clean it up for a
Yeah.
script. But I don't like to put that pressure on myself. Just enjoy telling the story that comes out. And if something, I bounce it off people that I don't like placaters. I don't want yes men, so to speak. I want you to kick me in the rear end. I think that's why I like Nita. Yeah, she's
Yeah.
honest. I don't want to be the person on American Idol that can't sing, but nobody told me the truth, so I'm
Right.
embarrassing myself. So my wife will let me know, and luckily everything's been good, but she would let me know, and so would two close friends if something was off or it just didn't
Right.
sound right.
So you're a pantser, because I know that writers. Well, seems like that writers in particular come in two flavors: plotters and pantsers. And it's like I consider myself a pantser too, where it's like I'm just writing it. I'm just the story's just coming out as it goes along, and that the world building kind of happens at the same time. And if I need to tweak anything, that's where I tweak it.
Yeah, because the few times that I was like, I think I'm gonna go like this, because you do you as you start to write, you do think a little ahead, but it never works out because as I start to write, this seems to make sense as a thread from what I just did, and it
Mm-hmm.
usually doesn't work out as foretold anyway. So
Right. Yeah. So you said that you were in, I guess, like you were in comics for a while. Like you said, it's like really you ran like local conventions, or you.
yeah, I run a local a physical convention in Long Island. It's been on hiatus right now because of COVID. I haven't done one in a couple of years, but I get major artists there. But I want to promote the quote unquote small or unknown
Mm-hmm.
artists. So I mix everybody in Artist Alley. They don't get
Right.
stuck in small press. You can
Oh,
be
that's
sitting
cool.
next to Adam Kubert. I don't
Right.
care. An
Right.
artist is an artist. The only difference
Right.
is one person got a break and one didn't.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. It's kind of like the Comic Con where I was sitting next to. I forgot his name, but he was like one of the. I guess he worked on Ghost Rider, and he
Howard
had a
Mackey,
line.
the
Maybe.
writer.
And what happened was that I ended up with the line in front of my table,
Ah.
so it's like, so they ended up blocking the line, so I started like sketching little goofy doodles of Ghost Rider and selling it to everybody on the
See,
line.
that's what you got to do, because while they're standing there, they're bored.
Yeah.
They're going to look over at your
Right. Yeah.
table and they may have normally just beelined
Yeah.
past you.
Yeah.
You have to take advantage of that.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. But but before you got into conventions or whatnot, so what was your origin as a writer, and as your interest in comics?
Well, if you see the wall behind me, I'm a big art fan. I started collecting original art years ago, and that's how I started to meet artists and talk with them. But I've been collecting comics since I was 9. So they kind of got me through a crappy childhood. So, and I think some people I don't know if they're reading comics because they've forgotten the whole point of them. Good guys
Right.
do good things.
Yeah, I
Anyway,
know. It feels like that sometimes, right?
so I always read them and admired them and appreciated them. When I was younger, I didn't really pay attention to artists and writers. It was just what I liked to read. As I got older, I started to pay attention to that and appreciate who I thought were good writers, who were the great artists. And then I started collecting art, getting to know them. And then I'm the type of person that if I don't like how something's being done, I'm not going to whine and cry about it. I'm just going to
Right.
go do it the way I think it should be
Right.
done.
Yeah.
And so I did a convention and it was successful and it did well. And I did 2 more and they were received really well. And then someone approached me about being art rep and I was like, I didn't even think about it. I deliberated for about a year on that. I wanted to gain more knowledge, and then I did, and now I rep a bunch of artists. Um, and then, like I said, with the writing the comic, that was something I always wanted to do. I said, let's do it.
Interesting. I mean, so wow, it's like, it's so what's funny is that it's not your comics trajectory is not real. It's like I'm so used to everybody's like, oh yeah, I just wanted to do a comic, but you're like really knee deep into like the fandom at like with the conventions, with representing artists. So I mean, so when you represent artists, so how so what, an artist needs work and you try to find it for them? Like if someone was looking for an artist, they go to you?
Yes,
Right.
I try to get them published work. Like I've had artists I've gotten on Vampirella, and a lot of indie books, and I have actually had Michael Monty Moore in the promo. I have an artist working for him right now. So I find them work. I also sell their art, and I do live sales and try to get them revenue. I promote them. And as a matter of fact, we have a Kickstarter coming up next month with all their art books to try
Wow.
to really blend all of
Mhm.
our fan bases together to try to get eyes on them, because that's, you would think it'd be easy with social media to get
Right.
eyes on you.
You would
It
think, right?
but between the algorithms and the business, these big corporations trying to snuff the little guy and trying to make money out of you, or the fact that people just their attention spans aren't what they were, so they just scroll down and click like, but they're not really reading or paying
Yeah.
attention. It's kind of hard.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's like we can have an entire conversation just on that aspect of what you do. With representing artists, because my next question is like what's the biggest trend that you see? Because you probably see everything on the ground floor. So, what's the biggest trend that you see now? Happening in terms, I guess, like in what people are looking for, and
Well,
what
I
you can.
think people are caught up in fads, so the movies are really, and I don't know if this is a positive thing. I'm not going to get into that commentary, but the
Right, yeah.
movies are dictating a lot of what's going on in the industry, including grading, including
Uh-huh.
comic cover collecting. Um, so I mean, obviously, fan art is usually based on what's hot at the moment. What movies coming out, what announcements, what characters. As far as like digital art and the AI stuff has been big lately, and I think it's scaring a lot of original artists, but I'm
Mhm.
not worried about it. I
Right.
think it'll be a tool that's used, but it's
Mhm.
never going to replace an original artist. You just can't.
Right.
Um,
Exactly.
Yeah.
you'll never be, because a human artist, the sequential work they can do, I
Yeah.
don't think will ever be replicated by me speaking into a microphone and some computer generating graphics that were already out in the ether.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
and to be honest with you, the people that the writers and creators that use that AI were never going to pay for an artist anyway because they didn't have the
Exactly.
money, and that's why they're using AI. So you
Yeah.
didn't lose anybody. You're still going to get the
Yeah.
people that are willing to pay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
at first
that's
I was real hard when I first saw it. I myself am not an artist, but I have many artist friends, and I'm raising an artist. So it was at first it was just like, oh God, this is
right.
the end of the world. Then it's like, oh wait, no, never
Yeah.
mind.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like when they said that television was going to destroy movie. Well, maybe now that analogy doesn't quite work. But it's
But
like,
it took a
wait,
long time. My kid's
Well,
still gonna
but
be okay.
and that's the thing is actually with your analogy, as much as you love streaming,
yeah,
it may hurt some movies, but the
right,
big epic movies, people are always going to want to see them in that big experience in the
yeah,
theater, the
yeah,
crowd cheers, the popcorn, the atmosphere.
yeah,
No one's going to say I'd rather watch Avengers Endgame at home than on a 50-foot screen.
well,
I don't,
yeah,
things may, you may have to share the space now,
mhm,
but nothing is going to take over another
right.
space. Like they tried
Uh-huh.
that with digital comics. It's not going to happen. People
That's
want a
true.
physical
That's
comic.
true. Yeah,
It,
it's a
it is good. It is good to have like 50 digital comics on one iPad if you're taking a long train ride, but
yeah.
they still have five or 10 boxes at home of physical comics.
Right, exactly. And it's like someone like me, it's like I can't read, like I can read a book on a phone, but yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I can read a book on a phone, but even then that's kind of limited.
Right.
And with a comic, I don't know, for some reason I just cannot do that at all. I
Oh
need
well,
to
I
have
can't either.
the physical book in front of
Yeah,
me.
you
But
know,
I
how do
have
you get
problems
enlarge if
reading.
you can't read print? And I don't have
Yeah.
Right.
patience for that. And what if
That's
your
why I
battery's
print out
dying?
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, what if your batteries? You got trade paperbacks that you could
Yeah.
bring a whole collected volume. And the truth is, CGC is never going to allow digital to take over,
Right.
or their
Yeah.
business model is done.
Right,
And
Right.
they're the
exactly.
biggest part of this industry right now.
Yeah.
So that's never going to happen.
Right, exactly. So what's the one book that stands out in your mind as this it's like I want to do that. That the one like comic or maybe the one novel or whatnot, it's like, well, the comic especially. It's like that you saw and you go, I want to do that.
Well, I mean, the first comic I ever got was Uncanny X-Men 115 with Sauron on the cover and Wolverine swinging at Colossus. And just looking at the characters at I was like just about 9. It was just fantastical to me. It was amazing. So that was my inspiration. I can't narrow it down to one book. Like some people say Watchmen or some profound book like that. To me, the 17 years Chris Claremont was on X-Men was just golden. I never enjoyed comics more than reading, whether it was him with Cockrum, him with John Byrne, or moving on to all the way up to Jim Lee. The storytelling, the consistency of it, how he wrote the characters and nurtured them and created them right before our eyes. I don't think you can ever match that again personally in comics. And most of that is not just that Claremont was a great writer, but that they allowed him to be the father of these characters for 17 years. There was consistency there.
Right.
And I think that's what's hurting comics is a new writer comes on every 12 issues and writes the character how they like the character, and there's no consistency. It's like, wait a minute, that's not how Nightcrawler acts. Like,
Right.
why are you doing that?
Right.
So,
yeah. So let's bring up the campaign for Tragedy. So I guess is it safe to say that your book was literally a fever dream?
I guess you could say that. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's really weird how her it just popped in my head. And yes, Claremont is my writing god too. I've been told that my writings, I'm not saying I'm as good as Claremont. I'm never that stupid, but I've been told I write in the same vein of like world building and opening plots and introducing characters. The only thing I do is I close some plots before I start opening new ones.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
I don't want to frustrate anybody like you're watching Lost again,
Right, exactly. So is there a video that we can watch and kind of get a rundown?
Yeah, there's a video at the beginning at the top.
Okay, so let's
And I just let everybody know it spoils a major ending in book 1, but we're on book 4, so at this point I've got to let out the beast.
Oh, right, yeah. It's like, look, the Maltese Falcon is fake. Go ahead. Yeah. That I have to admit, though, that is probably one of the tamest Steph Wilson covers I have seen. How did you do that?
Yeah. Well, I like Steph's art, and I have nothing against, obviously, sexuality and cheesecake art. I have 2 kids. If I was against sexuality, that would be weird. Anyway, but my character strength isn't in that. And I didn't want that to be the portrayal of her, but I do like Steph's art. And of course, he has a good following and he's a good guy. And I really like working with him and Carrie Ann. So I went to him and I said, hey, I challenge you to get a little bit outside your box and draw me a cover. And he's got a cover on every campaign and they're all awesome.
And he's really good at promotion. Steph is one of the few artists that will promote every project he's on. So that's always a plus.
Is. And he keeps getting work, and I'm sure that's part of the reason, besides his talent, because he cares about what he puts out there, and he cares about you succeeding, because he also understands if you succeed, he continues to get covers.
Oh, that yeah, it's like I guess it's like he's fueling his own fire. Okay, so tragedy. What's kind of like the overall rundown of like like I mean obviously is it safe to say that it's kind of superheroes? What are we looking
Yeah,
at here?
there's a superhero element for sure. I mean, the quick Netflix pitch is if you took Boondock Saints or John Wick and you mixed it with Big Trouble in Little China and then
Ooh.
threw in more, that's what you have.
Uh,
The slightly longer, and I won't drag it out, is I've never met a woman that realized how strong she was, how capable she was, how powerful she was. And my wife is no different. And no matter how much I tell her, she doesn't get it, because if you don't feel it in your own heart, you don't feel it. So I wanted to write a female protagonist that I thought was real. She struggles with all these things: insecurity, a life she doesn't want, all the human things we feel. I mean, how many days have you gotten up and you just like, oh, I don't want to get up and face this day. I just want to curl up and roll back under the covers. I'm done with
this morning?
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what, though? Our strength is that we get up every day anyway. Look, there are so many days you get kicked in the teeth. That's just life. Life kicks you in the teeth.
Yeah.
And you know what? As we get older, we get more jaded because we get kicked in the teeth more and more. Your strength is you get up and you face it every day anyway, and you try to keep that good mindset and you keep plugging away.
Mm-hmm.
And she deals with all these struggles as well as dealing with a sociopathic adoptive father that she keeps wanting his love and respect. At the same time, she knows she shouldn't. And it causes her to hate herself for wanting it. And it's this vicious cycle she deals with. But while she's dealing with that in a life she doesn't want, she's facing rival mafia, assassins, metahumans. There's Chinese mysticism. There's the Breath of the Dragon, who's an adversary in the first issue, and things don't go well for her. Because you know what? How can you be a hero if you're not tested?
Right.
When
Yeah.
He-Man wins all the time, you kind of don't take Skeletor seriously. You're never worried. We love Empire Strikes Back because the good guys got their asses handed to them.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's my favorite of the Star Wars movies because of that.
And how excited were you to come back and see how do they handle this? Because they just got totally their butts kicked.
Yeah.
And I wanted a character that when she's down, you feel it because you relate to it. And when she's triumphant, you cheer with her. I'm a big Rocky fan. I'm a sucker for that. And I think we've gotten away from that. I mean, there's dark elements to the book, but there are moments that make you go, oh, hell yeah,
Right.
And I want you to cheer with
Right.
her. I want you to feel her failures, and I want you to celebrate her successes as if they were your own.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it is kind of funny how it seems like a lot of storytelling is kind of getting away from, like, they almost don't want to do that. Like, especially when it comes to women characters, like, oh, we can't show them failing on any level. And I go, no, I want that bitch to get steamrolled.
Right.
It's like,
right. I mean, honestly, where is the strength in a woman that everything's going right and she's bitching how it's not, her life is so hard? You're like, oh, well, show me. Where is it so hard? You can say it, but show me.
Right.
So I want to show you. She's not complaining in the book about anything. She's just doing what she has to do.
Right. Exactly.
And
you're seeing the struggle. Yeah.
Most women that I've ever met, they're not bitching and crying. They're dealing with the crap that's thrown at them, and they're dealing it with a strength. Because look, I look at it this way. Men and women both have strengths and weaknesses.
Right, yeah.
We complement each other. There are things about men that are stronger than women, and there are things about women that are stronger than men. We need each other, and we balance each other. And when we stop realizing that, and we have to put one gender down to build the other up, I think we've lost the point.
Yeah, I agree.
Because we all struggle, just in different ways, and sometimes in the same way.
Yeah.
I'll never go through the physical hell you women go through on a monthly basis, and with pregnancy, and then your reward is menopause.
Right. Yeah.
Surprise.
We're messing you up even more.
And I can acknowledge that without having to down my own gender and what we go through. Because men suffer in silence a lot because society tells us to.
Yeah, exactly.
So we have to support each other and recognize each other's strengths and weaknesses without it being a critique.
Right.
It's just a fact.
Yeah.
And when I write her, I want her to be real. Thank you, Charles. Yeah, Charles gave me one of the nicest reviews, and being the writer that he is, it was a great compliment. So thank you, Charles.
I mean, it's pretty obvious just visually of the, because it's like, we see the landscape of Kickstarter. You were talking about all the variant covers and all that. And the thing is that tragedy has always stood out from that. Like, we talk about, titty books. We talk about those type of things. But the thing is, though, it's like I've always, whenever I see tragedy, it's like, no, that's not like that. Like,
Right.
just visually, just even like quick glancing,
Well,
it's like,
if
no,
you're an
that's
assassin,
not.
do you want your tits out?
Well, you see,
I
but
mean,
that's
you
but
don't want
that's
to get a
the
bullet right between your cleavage. You know?
right,
Well, I mean,
exactly.
those little metal shields are like
Right, yeah, or it's like, but I mean, it's like, yeah, it's like look, I completely understand the fantasy element of it. It's like I have, it's like, look, I had to kind of,
my breastplate.
yeah, I know exactly. It's like, the whole fantasy armor and all that. It's like,
Right.
look, it's like there's, I understand that, Red Sonja's, chainmail bikini. Yes, it's not realistic, but it's not supposed to be, that whole thing. But the thing is, though, it's like a lot of books, they just seem to be created with that in mind. Like, it's like,
Right.
okay, it's like, it's just everything's out to here, and
Right.
it's,
And
but
there's
it's
no
like, but they,
judgment on that. I have two little girls, and I want to represent strong women for what they should be recognized as strong for. Don't get me wrong.
right,
I
yeah,
love the beauty of women.
right,
And there's
yeah,
nothing wrong with art forms that show that.
No,
It's
absolutely
just
not.
not the story I wanted to tell.
right. Yeah, because it's like, yeah, and that's off. Yeah, and that's the thing, because like, it's like, you, because even your variant covers, it's like, like with the Steph Wilson one, it's like they're not what I usually see for variant
I've been
covers.
told I can make probably about $15,000 more if I popped out her boobs, and I
It-
just won't do it.
You could, but
Yeah.
don't
I
stand
won't.
stand firm, man. Like
Yeah.
seriously,
I
like
am.
Rob's doing that with Snowfall, and I have a great appreciation for him there.
I mean, it's like,
So-
yeah, it's like we have to. So here's the thing. So it's like, how is like how much pressure do you kind of get from that? It's like, because, it's like it's like, I mean, on my last campaign, a nude cover did very well for me. But the thing is, though, it's like, in the end, it's not that I felt that the cover was out of place, but I felt that it was too soon. It's like, for me to get to that part of the story. But then it just
Right.
got to a point where it's like, well, as long as it's related to everything, it's okay. But the thing is, though, do you get a lot of pressure for, it's like, yeah, could you do a sexier cover? So, I only collect that type of cover or something, or
Believe it or not, I get a few people that's harp on you could make more money if you do
Right.
that, but most people have the response you did. They actually respect and appreciate
right,
standing that line,
right,
because I think in everything you need your checks and balances. If everything is that, then
Right,
there's
yeah.
going to be a need for this.
right,
Or if everything was that, people are going to be like, well,
Right.
where are the boobs? So,
right, yeah,
so it's just a nice balance, and I think there's no right or wrong. It's whatever
Right.
you feel is best for your IP.
Uh-huh.
But mostly, I've gotten good reception, especially by women saying,
Right.
"Thank you for representing a strong woman that doesn't have to have her ass out."
right. It doesn't make me feel ooky to look at it.
Again, there's a time and a place, like
Right, yeah,
Steph
yeah.
Wilson's art serves its purpose. It's cheesecakey, it's cute,
Right.
But for me, yeah, I mean, watching Red Sonja. By the way, and I'm not judging anyone, but
Right.
I like real women.
Right.
If I'm gonna look at
Thank
that
you.
stuff,
Thank
if I'm gonna look
you.
at that stuff, I have a drop dead gorgeous wife. So if I already have a Lamborghini at home, why
Right.
am I looking at the
A
Ferrari
Chevy.
down the block?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know. It's like,
But I like real women. That's
Right.
all I'm gonna say. And I'm gonna leave it
well,
at that.
but also the thing is, it's like you said, like, instead of like kind of getting uptight as to why other people are or aren't doing something, it's like, okay, this is my comic. I'm going to do this comic exactly the way I want to see it.
Yeah, and there's no
This
judgment on
Right.
anybody else. Do what makes you happy, what's best for you.
Right.
I mean, whatever your reason. Some people yell, "Oh, sellout."
Right.
Listen, I don't know what your motivations are, but
Right.
all right, even if that's what you're doing, if you're
Right.
making money, not working a crappy day job, and your
Right,
life is
yeah.
happy, good for you. Why do I
Right.
care?
Exactly. Exactly.
When you start focusing on what everybody else is doing, you're no longer focused on what you're doing, and then you wonder why nothing's succeeding.
Right. That's the thing. Yeah, I think that too many people are not minding their business, literally. You know.
Yeah, stay
Yeah.
in your lane is the right. I mean, I like to support people rather than tear them down. And if they're doing
Yeah.
something that maybe is not my thing, I just don't say anything. Why do
Right.
you have to go at them? Just let them be.
Right. So,
Live your best life.
right. Yeah. Exactly. I know we're almost at the top. We're just at the top of the hour, but I just have one more question. 4 campaigns in, what's your biggest takeaway?
As far as like what I've learned,
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a freaking grind. This is an emotional roller coaster. You feel like you're victorious one moment and kicked in the teeth the next, which is like life. Sorry, that's the fire
Oh
department.
no, that's fine. I got my windows open too. Yeah.
Just the takeaway is that it's work, but I love it. But it's very draining on you emotionally. It's really people. I don't think people who haven't created or done Kickstarters, I don't think they understand, especially when they're canceling in the last 3 days, what that does to a creator. Now you may have a legitimate reason, but
Right.
it is hard. It's you got to keep your spirits up, no matter what. No matter what that goal says, no matter what the funding is or doesn't fund, if you love it and you care about it, you have to understand this is long game and you're only in the first minute of round 1.
Right. Yeah, that's true. That's true. So on that note, why don't you tell everybody where they can find you aside from Kickstarter and like as always, links are in the show notes for the campaign for most of
Also in the promotions group.
There you go. So if you're looking for a tragedy, it's on Kickstarter right now. And you have 5 days left to go?
Yeah, as of 8 p.m. it'll go to 4 days.
Right. Okay. So there you go. So where else can everybody find you aside from Kickstarter?
Honestly, I have a ton of pages, but I just try to make it easier. Just go to my Facebook page, which is Philip Russert. It helps avoid the algorithms. That's why I try not to use the business pages too much, because Facebook's not helping you.
Right.
So mostly go there, or my Instagram page at Phil Russert, RUSSERTT, 2 T's. Because I post a lot there. I mean, I post a lot. So you'll get everything up to date there. As far as Legendary Illustrations, you can reach out to me in Facebook or Instagram DM as well if you'd like to hire artists. I do respond to everyone because I have to be honest, my one pet peeve is lack of correspondence.
Thank you.
Not the fact that you can't take 30 seconds to respond to somebody is the greatest disrespect on the planet, to act like they don't exist.
Right.
I don't care what level you are. It takes few seconds to just respond. And I promise you, I will respond within a 24-hour period. All right. No matter what it is you're reaching out to me about.
Oh, there you go. So thank you so much for joining us today. And Nita, you have any I guess final words for everybody about the campaign, about anything?
I'm good to go because I am in love with this. There are some fantastic covers on it. It's definitely being shared. It's in the promotions group now, and I'll do the Twitter and everything when we get off of here, because I don't want to kick myself out of StreamYard again.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, exactly.
And I just want to say, people need to support live stream shows like this and Catch the Craze, because they're the ones that are making us indie people relevant. They work hard to get these productions going. The time you put into preparing, researching the work, getting the links up, making a post, taking your time from family to be on air. It's a lot of work, guys. It may look like a lot of fun, but there are days where they don't want to get up and do this. They're tired. They have stuff going on, stress going on, and they have to put on the smile and the business face, and they have to entertain you. And it is not easy. So please support shows like this. Share them out. Watch them. Give them a chance to get, funded through YouTube, or, and get the following and subscribe, click. It doesn't take much.
Oh, there you go. Look at
him doing thank you.
We have to take care of each other. This is not a competition. Your only competition is being a better person tomorrow than you were today. What you do is good. You don't have to worry about the other person.
There you go. You see, look at that. that. He's filling. He's doing my work for me. That's it. I'm done.
But anyway, thanks for letting me go on my diatribe there. Yeah.
No problem. Always a pleasure, sir. And as he said, if you want to learn more about me and my artwork, you can head on over to my main portfolio site at egoworks.com, EGOWRKS, where you can find links to all of my galleries and social media sites, but I mostly post to Facebook. Also, don't forget to check out my YouTube channel at Daphne Lage, Lage Art, where you can find videos on how I make all my comics and whatnot, which also simulcasts through the Indie Comics Network. And don't forget that you could also read the first 5 issues of Ego Raven, Heir of the First Unicorn, in its original black and white format for free on egoworks.com. But if you prefer your fantasy to be more of a furry Lord of the Rings type of adventure, you can follow the link to Tall Tales, TAILS online.com, and read the first 20 issues of Tall Tales for free. So there's a lot of reading going on. I like to give a shout out to everybody in the chat who kept it lively, kept it moving. Thank you very much. I like to thank the 3 people who are still with us at the end of this hour. People got things to do, but you'll catch us on the replay. So thank you so much for joining us as well. So on that note, thank you everybody. We'll see you on Friday, where we're closing out the Oswald Chronicles with JD Calderon. Also, follow me catch me on Wednesday. I will be doing another live stream on my channel. Again, simulcast through here as well. Another art live stream. And in the words of the ancients, eat your food, mind your business, moisturize, especially now that it's getting colder, and especially the elbows. Always moisturize the elbows. And do the work, because when you actually do the work, you never have to fake your accomplishments. Really, I don't know why anybody would want to fake this, because, trust me, it's worth it. It really, really is worth it. The work is worth it. So, any last words, Nita?
I'm out.
There we go. Me too. Let's go.